Hello. Today's episode, which is number 139 of Window Treatment Friday Live. Today is also Good Friday, so I wish you a very happy upcoming Easter to everybody who celebrates. And today will be a sweet and short and to the point episode. I will be in and out of your life super quick. So, if this is your first time joining us, ooh, if this is the first time joining us, I want to welcome you. And what this is a weekly live series that is broadcasted on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube simultaneously. And this is where we talk all things about window treatments, pleats, drapery panels, balances, mounting systems, motorization, lining, pins, everything and anything that is related to the world of custom window treatments. We take a topic, we pick it apart, we put it back together, and in the process hope to give you some inspiration and education. There is a whole library of these episodes. There's 138 of them already. This is the 139, and you can access all of them on my website, vitaliainc.com, or the windowworksnewjersey.com, or our YouTube channels. So usually, for those who know, I am joined here by my dear friend and colleague, Kimberly Seraphim, the part owner of WindowWorks New Jersey, but for the last couple of months, she's been on maternity leave, about to return. So I'm super excited about that. So today, just like last week, I just want to take you in sort of like behind the scenes of some of the installations that we have recently done, and maybe in the process give you a little bit of sort of inspiration and give you some ideas. All right, so I'm going to toggle my presentation. I'm going to get super small and page this presentation back all the way to the first slide. As I was sitting here waiting for 9 o'clock to come, I was just paging through it, making sure that I have all of my salient points. So here we are. This is episode number 139, Window Treatment Friday Live, and the topic is installations lately. So this was one of our recent installs that I am really happy about, very proud of. This was in the Poconos area, which is about 2 hours away from me. Yes, we do go up there to the Lehigh Valley, and yes, we do install and meet with designers. We have quite a few up there. And this was for a designer. Her name is Petra Karvidas. She had a wonderful client who needed window treatments in their new townhome. So you can see that these are slightly challenging windows. They have the 3 sets on the bottom, the 3 sets on the top, another one at the top. So there were a lot of options that we could have taken. Instead of going over the top with frou-frou, which is not at all the trend right now, we went minimalistic, we went streamlined, we went simple with just 2 stationary drapery panels on the sides of the windows. You can see that we took it all the way up above the transom window, and we put them on short rods. We didn't want to have one big rod going across all of these, 7 windows. We just wanted something super simple, super small, just framing the window, kind of like a little bit of jewelry or a mascara on your eyes. So this was the before. You can see what a huge difference window treatments make. It never fails. It happens every single time. Whenever we install, the reaction is always, oh my God, what a difference. And so if you're a window treatment pro listening to me right now, I know that you can relate. It is inevitable. It happens every single time because it's true. It's like you cannot not wear jewelry or makeup or pretty shoes with little black dress. Yes, little black dress is an amazing thing, and it's a classic, and it looks wonderful on you, but it is all the other elements that really make the outfit. And window treatments is the element that makes any interior design pop. So just a couple of more pictures and a few more close-ups of this particular space. This was a really pretty fabric. This was embroidered poly blend. The fabric came from Unique Fabrics. We do quite a lot of work with Unique. Gary Krupnik is our sales rep who makes sure that our libraries are updated. I've known Gary for many, many years, and still continue to be in awe of his work ethic and everything he does for us window treatment pros and interior designers. So we also really like working with poly blends because that ensures, again, the window treatment pros know here, anytime you have a blend, it really mitigates any kind of growing or stretching or potential puddling on the floor, which nobody really likes. So this is another close-up. You can see how pretty this fabric is. It's really hard to take a picture from far away. This is embroidered stitch, and it has sort of like this diamond geometric pattern. So several ideas here for you. If you have multiple transom windows, you can treat them with 2 stationary panels. That's idea number 1. Idea number 2, you can see now what short rods look like versus one big long rod that maybe you've been used to. Idea number 3, if you're wondering if you have a geometric pattern, how would it lay and fall in a drapery panel when it's pleated? Here you can see it. So this is really our goal, is to show you some inspiration, to give you an idea of what things look like, and also prevent any kind of mistakes or pitfalls to watch out for, because God knows Kim and I have done many. So a quick commercial break here from Kim. We have a free gift. It's called 10 Things to Know About Custom Window Treatments. So the viewers who usually come and join us here on Window Treatment Friday, whether you're live or in recording, they're usually window treatment pro, an interior designer, or a retail consumer who maybe wants to learn more about window treatments because you're thinking of those for your house. So if you are that consumer and really don't know where to start and what to do with them, and just need an introduction and kind of a 101, this is a perfect report. 10 things to know about custom window treatments. You can get yours on windowworksnewjersey.com. All right, another install that we recently completed happened to be for the same client. So I'm just gonna stay with the trend of being in the same house. We did several rooms for them. This is a simple window, really. We do these all day, every day. We can do this in our sleep. So I wanted to show you what a simple drapery looks like. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be over the top. It does not have to be a challenging window. Sometimes it's just good to know what is an average double window looks like if I treat it with custom stationary panels. Voila. Here we took our panels all the way to that soffit. You will see us do it a lot. We try to go as close to the ceiling as possible. And you see the long rod here versus the 2 short rods, like in the previous picture. You can also see that this rod is supported in the middle. You can see that the bracket is perfectly aligned with that center mullion on the window. And let's get a little bit closer. Before we get closer, this is the before. Again, that naked window, and not pretty. Here we go. This is called a double top tack pleat. This is one of our go-to pleats. We really like it. It is more streamlined, kind of more updated rather than a traditional French pleat, which is triple, but not so modern and contemporary as a ripple fold would be. So this has been our go-to lately. And as far as the visual kind of representation of this whole panel, how it's been put together, you see that this is a solid kind of linen-y looking fabric with a really pretty trim along the side. We do this a lot. This is a huge trend, I think, all over the country. You have solid drapes with a trim along the leading edge. If I had a penny for all the solid drapes with the leading edge that we have ever done, yeah, I would have a lot of pennies. So even though the fabric looks like it's a linen fabric, it is a blend. We try to stay with blends as much as possible. And in this case, Petra, this interior designer, she was using our fabric library. So, which is another point here. If you are an interior designer and you don't have your own fabric library, or you don't feel like going to the design center, or you don't have the accounts, or for whatever other reason, you are more than welcome to come to us. We will work with you and your clients to make the most beautiful and appropriate and budget fitting decisions with regards to fabric selections and trims. We have a very extensive selection here, and you are welcome to come and utilize it. So here's another close-up. You can see that double top tack pleat. You can see the beautiful trim going along the leading edge. By the way, the fabric is also from Unique Fabrics. It is also a blend. And the trim is from Stout, I believe. I don't know 100%, but we do a lot of trims from Stout. The hardware comes from United Supply, specifically from their Metals Select collection, and we also utilize that vendor and that collection quite a bit. It is one of our go-tos, and you can see how close to the ceiling it is. Maybe perhaps a little too close in this case. I usually like to have a little bit of a breathing room, maybe an inch or so, but in this situation, it just kind of how it worked out. Another angle of the same install, you can see why we chose the blue trim, because there's a lot of blue elements in the room. There's that blue chair, and there was also blue bedding. Another super quick commercial break for you guys. If you are looking for ideas for window treatments, whether you're an end consumer or an interior designer or a window treatment pro, you can go on our website, which is vitaliainc.com, and immediately download a free curated lookbook filled with inspiration and education. We call it 37 and a half window treatment ideas to use immediately to steal, swipe, and make your own on your next design project. So make sure to head on over to vitaliainc.com. And I also wanted to tell you about a great podcast in case you have been living under a rock for the last 7 years. Luann Nigara, who is a incredibly prominent person in our industry. She's a coach, she's a speaker, and a podcaster, and who also happens to be my own business coach and a personal friend. She has been running this podcast for the last 7 years. She's close to 800 plus episodes, I think. And it is on this podcast where Window Treatment Friday series first started. Then during the pandemic, about 3 years ago, Kim and I took it to the live version, to these visual platforms, but it is in this podcast where it first originated. So just on an off chance that you're not familiar and you're an interior designer, this is a podcast for you. If you are a window treatment pro, I have another podcast for you. It is called Window Treatment for Profit. It was also started by our fearless leader, Luann Nigara, because, one podcast wasn't enough, and she's not busy enough, and she doesn't have enough stuff to do. And she decided to launch another podcast. And I am so thrilled that she did, because not only is it filled with incredible information from Luann and another co-host of hers, Madeline McRae, and I am also privileged and humbled to have my own co-host seat and my own series. It comes out every Thursday for 10 minutes. I come into your inbox and I give you a short but oh so mighty tip on how to run a better, more efficient, more profitable, and more productive window treatment business. We call it Vita's Tip in 10. Please, if you're not subscribing yet, please do, and make sure to check it out. We've been at it for a year, actually, and I think there's close to 150 episodes. I know I just recorded episode number 53 just in my own series, so 50 times 3 works out to about 150. So there's a lot of really awesome information specifically for the window treatment professional, not to be missed, you guys. All right, another install in the same house. This happens to be the breakfast nook. And the interesting thing here was that the windows were on two different heights. Why is beyond me, but they were. And so there was a lot of talk about, do we try to make them visually more aligned with window treatments, and ultimately decided that no, this is how the architect meant it. This is what the room looks like. So we're just going to accentuate the architectural elements of the room. Also, the fabric here was a very sheer fabric. So we really did not want the window treatments to be the heroes here. We didn't want it to be contrasting or be standing out or be screaming in your face. This is a very kind of plain, sheer, very understated type of fabric. Very, very beautiful in real life. A little bit hard to see, of course, in the picture. The valance style here is called mock Roman straight valance with equal small pleats at the bottom. If you're wondering why this valance is so structured, it is because not only is it mounted on the board at the top, but it also has wooden legs on the sides. And we stretch the valance around the legs, which gives it that tailored look. There's no board in the front, there's no upholstery in the front, so it's not a cornice, it is still a valance, but it is sort of a mixture of the regular valance that's just mounted on the head, on the top board, and a fully upholstered cornice. It is a style that we here at Vitalia Inc. utilize a lot. It is sort of a mixture of, rather, it's a step up from the traditional, but not super contemporary or modern, which in that situation you really wouldn't even use a valance that much. It is also a way to not quite do a functional Roman shape, which utilizes more fabric and is much more expensive to produce, and give it sort of the look of the structure and tailoredness, if that's the word, without the expense. So here's a little bit of a close-up of this. You can see how understated and how pretty it is, very quiet. So I really like it, really like how it turned out. And then one last picture that I want to show you from this install is a cornice. It's not what we do a lot of nowadays. Cornices used to be very, very popular for a long time back in the 90s and the beginning of 2000s, maybe 2010 even. And now we are in 2023. This was a cornice that I did. This was the last cornice that we did, and we haven't done one prior to that for, I don't know, months and months, if not years. So this was a lot of fun to do. The challenge here was that even though you can see that the cornice went on the outside of the window, it went between these sort of bumped out walls. So essentially this was an inside mount situation. So the measurements, as we all know, for any kind of IB install have to be super, super precise. So I'm like so glad that everything fit and the installer had a great ease of putting it up. And then one last thing that I want to point your attention to is the piping. Anytime you have a stripe, it is usually a good idea to at least discuss with the designer or the client to see if they would like to run the piping on the bias. What that means on the bias is that where you take the stripe that is vertical and you turn it diagonally. So you turn it not fully sideways, so it's not all of a sudden becomes horizontal. You turn it diagonally at 45 degrees, and that's how you make your piping. And so what it does, it adds a little bit of contrast between the body of the cornice and the finishing touches on the top of the bottom. So if you have the yardage to do that, anytime you cut on the bias, it takes more yardage. If you have the yardage, if you remember to discuss it with the client and they're open to it, it's definitely a good idea to try. And then one last thing I want to tell you before I let you go today, one quick commercial break is this. If you are a window treatment professional, and if you're looking to scale your business with hiring people, with establishing new processes, with putting in place a project management system, and also learning how to digitally and paperlessly create quotes. And if you want to understand what it takes to scale up, to grow, how much money it takes, how much financial resources, how much mental resources, human resources, and everything in between, I have an opportunity for you. It is called the VIP experience. It is specifically for high achieving, ambitious window treatment professionals who are looking to scale up. It is an in-person, private, 2-day strategy session with me so that I can get you more organized, more systems driven, more profitable, and clear on your path forward. How do I know how to do it? It's because that is exactly what I have done since 2018. 5 years ago, I made a very conscious choice to scale my business up. And quite frankly, I don't want it to take 5 years for you. Yes, it took me that long because I didn't have anyone necessarily to give me the tools. Yes, I had coaches. Yes, I had mastermind groups. And yes, I had people to guide me. But I didn't have anyone to just hand over the tools to me. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm handing over all of the things that I just mentioned above so that your learning curve is not 5 years. Yours is more of a setup curve and putting in place what has already been created. So if you're interested, please check it out on my website, vitaliainc.com/VIP experience. All right, my friends, I am going to let you go. I told you this was going to be short and sweet. If you are in the New York metro area, this is the information for windowworksnewjersey.com. Please call them, email, DM, PM if you're a retail consumer or an interior designer. And if you are in the greater Philadelphia area and you are an interior designer only, I would love to hear from you because Vitalia Inc. is a one-stop shop, your go-to resource, your VIP level, concierge level, white glove level service exclusively for luxury interior designers ready to fly first class in the world of window treatments. All right, my friends, have a wonderful long Easter weekend. I hope you enjoy today's Good Friday and you enjoy your weekend. Have a wonderful time, and I will see you next Friday. Bye bye.